everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. Thank you for tuning in on a Saturday. So excited to be with you with this special Easter edition, talking a little real estate, being with you guys. Couldn't be any better on a Saturday. Again, thank you for tuning in. Got a good show for you. We're talking about what? Home buying mistakes that you can't make this spring. So it's going to be a great show. And we got a lot of work to do before we get into the show, but I got some congrats. Yep, it is spring. It is hard to believe it now. Spring market's here and the weather's changing. Trees are blooming and it is officially this time. Even though a week ago we saw snow, it's here now. I think it's here to stay, and hopefully it's here for the rest of the spring market. So I hope everybody's doing well. I missed you guys last week. I was out and about with a little illness, so wasn't here, and so glad to be back. So glad to be back and talking a little real estate. So we said, well, spring market's here, guys. What are we going to talk about? It's Easter. Everybody's with their church and family and doing different things. I said, well, one of these most important things we probably can talk about is our buyers. Purchasing in this market, with the market so wild, so crazy, what do we need to know? So we're going to cover a lot of good tips. Some of them you may have heard. Some of you may not have heard. And maybe it's your first time buying a home. You're tuning into this station. Thank you so much. And here's some tips that you may want to know as a first-time buyer. We're going to cover those. And if you're a seasoned veteran, like some great sellers that we just listed and said, hey, Ryan, we bought maybe 7 or 8 different properties. These are some good tips, and you may have forgot about them, so we'll use them as a refresher. Before we start our show, we'd like to talk about some congrats. New listing over 305 Bona Road. That's going to go pretty quickly over in Chilhowie Hills area. New listing over there, 329. You want to check that out. It's 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, and about 2,200 square feet, all one level with a 2-car carport in the rear. So check that out. We got a new listing on 421 and 429 Duncan Street in Newport. That's a duplex. Investors, make sure you check that out. Go to ryancoleman.org. I got all the information on there. Give you some insight where you could live in one side and rent the other out. That actually will qualify for an FHA. You can get in for very low down and could be your first investment property. So maybe you're coming out of college and you're looking to get into that real estate investing. This is the opportunity, that duplex. New price for 3715 Cinnamon Way. New price on that. Want to check that out. Also got a new cabin coming in Sevierville. Want to check that out here. Should hit in the market in the 1.2 range. So if you have some buyers or if your agent's listening to the show, give me a call. Maybe we can do a deal together. That's going to be hitting the market after Easter. So I want to check on that. Congrats to 415 Temple Road, officially under contract. Multiple offers, went quickly. 110 Galahad Court. It's a little Galahad. Is that English? It might be English. I don't know. Galahad Court in Sevierville went under contract in pretty record time. Congrats to those guys. They're moving to Myrtle Beach, Nick. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So, North Carolina. But you know why he said South Carolina? Is funny because he's on the border of North and South, and they actually are putting a house under contract right on the outside. He's in property management, so that's why I kind of get that. I got all these properties. I don't know how to keep all this stuff straight. I was talking to April, and she says, how do you keep every closing, every deal, every inspection all in your head? I said, I don't know, man. I was just born with a good memory, thank goodness. So I keep all these in my head. So sometimes they roll over, but pretty sharp still. Knock on wood. 551 Kearney Road, guys. Congrats in Jeff County. Under contract. And super excited for those guys that they had a house, fell through, unfortunately, with inspection. That happens, right? And then we found them something else really close to his work. And I think we're going to put that deal together, and we should have that paperwork in an hour. So, Mr. and Mrs. Sally, if you're listening, congrats to you guys, and super excited for you. And Tressa Circle, just some sweethearts, under contract in Powell. Going to help them find something. They're kind of a little bit all over the place, not sure in what they want to do. It's just such a big move. Market's hard. We've lost a couple, and but we're going to find something for them and help them on the journey. I always tell my sellers, or everybody really, and just say, it's always going to work out. I really believe that. I try to keep that positive faith going. So they're excited but nervous. We did a show a couple of weeks ago talking about the emotions involved in real estate. And the emotions are running high right now. Wouldn't you say that, Nick? The emotions are higher now than ever. And that's apparent every time you go fill up your car, right? Yeah, we won't go there today on this Easter, man. All right. And then congrats to our good friend, David McCardle. 4517 Buffett Mill closed, and he purchased. And we got it all done in the same day. And we made it happen, and he's already doing remodeling work, putting up a fence, and we're sending him some contractors and helping him with some stuff there. So he's super excited. So we've been working. It's busy. In this market, if you're thinking about buying or selling, it's a process. We're talking about buying today, some of the mistakes that you don't want to make. But on the selling, I had a great seller that reached out to me from the radio station, and they started that process. And I was so glad that they did, and they were thinking about putting it in the market. They needed to relocate closer to family. They were tempted to maybe take a little bit less money because of the timing and finding housing in the market. But they met with us, have an opportunity to go in the market, and we're going to get them substantially, probably 20% more than what they were planning and different methods of doing. So I'm excited that they reached out. And that's why you guys are listening. I know it's Easter, and maybe you'll catch us on a rewind, or maybe you're in the car driving to that Easter egg hunt. April wanted me to kind of fill you in if some things to do, and we'll kind of get into that in this show. But, I always encourage you guys, if you're thinking about this process this year, the first step you want to do is reach out to us. And maybe you're not ready for us to come out, or maybe not even, you hear me on the radio and say, Ryan, that's enough. I don't need to hear from you on the phone. I hear you every Saturday, man. No, I'm just joking. But, you're just not in that stage. You're not ready to kind of talk about numbers. You're just kind of in the preliminary investigation stage. I know I'm moving, or I know I'm downsizing, but I just don't know when. But you're watching the market. And now's that opportunity, now more than ever, is to have that opportunity. Visit ryancoleman.org. My team has spent a lot of time and effort revising our whole site, a whole marketing, all of our websites, digital. We did a rehaul, kind of a total makeover. I was telling Nick the other day, I said it's like a digital house, man. We really rebuilt our whole site, taking a lot of time and effort to focus on what the consumers are wanting, how we can best serve them, and take time to go to ryancoleman.org. We've got a lot of helpful tips there. We got these radio shows that we cover a wide range of topics that we cover. We got some very great blogs with most up-to-date information in the real estate market. It's specifically our Knoxville area housing market. And then, of course, if you're thinking about moving and you don't know the numbers yet, I've got a free evaluation. We can give you instant evaluation of numbers or what's going on, sales. And then what we'll encourage you to do is make that call. Even if you're a couple months out, maybe if you're 6 months out. I can think of two people now that we're helping. One's under contract and one's probably just days from doing that they reached out, and they were so glad that they did. And then when they did that, we could plan. They could have real numbers. There were strategies of things that we could do. And so they weren't under that hustle and bustle of everything right now, And what we're going to, before we know it, Easter's here, spring's over, summer, kids back to school. That's how quick it's turning. This year's flying. And so it's important that if you can get out in front of the moving and the process, and there's so many things to do, iron sharpens iron. We get our heads together. We can come up with a plan numbers wise. The numbers are going to be what we're at, but to a certain part, see what we're projecting. Today's market is really not what happened 6 months, 8 months ago. It's what buyers are paying today. So getting a good agent out to you, understanding what we do, game plan, having an agent selected that when that does come is the best move here, for your spring market. And we always are there to help you. RyanColeman.org is the best place to go. Before we get right into our show, we're a proud sponsor of the Vols. Real quick 60-second update with the Vols. Our men are on fire. The baseball team is a 23-game winning streak. We sweep Missouri. And guess what? This weekend, we're up in Bama, playing Bama. We got a double hitter out there. So make sure you watch our Vols, root them on if you can get there to the stadium. I know it's a hard ticket. One of my guys was at the game. He shot me a video of a grand slam. I was kind of jealous. I got to get down there and watch a game, but it was pretty fun, pretty excitement. Also, they've announced, I think, $59 million, somewhere in the 50. Once you go past $50 million, I stopped counting, but $59 million that's planned for renovations to the stadium. So support our Vols. Get out there and watch the Vols, and hopefully continue that streak on as we continue in SEC play. All right, so we're coming to a break, but we're going to stay with us. We're going to have fun. We're talking about 17 tips or mistakes that you may make. And obviously the biggest mistake is what? You don't want to buy in this market too big of a home. Everything's costing too much money, right? So you don't want to stay within your budget. Stay tuned. We're talking more real estate with Ryan on the second half of the show.
Knoxville and East Tennessee. The region is known for its rolling hills, rivers, and lakes. There's no better place to work, live, or raise a family. Home is where your story begins. Buying or selling your home is a big decision, and you need a real estate team you can trust.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your hometown experts. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let us develop a winning game plan for you.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
Your friend promised we wouldn't be homeless.
He promised. He's doing everything to fix it.
You need to call and have him fix it now.
Hey, man.
Found us a house.
No, not yet. Let me call you back. We're working on it.
Ryan Coleman with Hometown
He
Realty.
says he's doing the best he can do, honey.
Well, he's taking too long. I knew we should have gone with Ryan Coleman.
Choosing the right agent is never easy.
Call your hometown experts. We'll take care of all the details and make sure you don't get stuck in a motel. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in or coming back from the break, I would say. A little Easter edition, Real Estate with Ryan. Hope you guys are doing well. I know it's Easter, and April wanted me to kind of drop some lines in here. I know it's Saturday when we're airing on the show, but there are some Easter egg hunts for the kiddos. Check out the zoo has a big event going on. And then one of the websites you want to check out, EasterEggHuntsAndEvents.org. I'm going to kind of go through this pretty quickly because we've got a busy show. So we talk about when you're purchasing a home, one of the biggest things in today's overinflation market, everything's so expensive. You want to stay within budget. You want to stay within budget. You don't want to buy more home than you can afford, especially if you already have some debt. So make sure that one of the biggest mistakes is you walk through that home, inventory is limited, and you start pushing the envelope of increased price, increased loan amount. Now, the bank will give you more money, but that doesn't mean that that's the right thing for you. I early started my career, and one of the first couple listings I've been in, I didn't know much. I was as green as it could get. Went to this big, beautiful house, probably at the time, probably 4,000 square feet. And at the time back then was probably about 700,000. And I went in it and I started going through it. And I walked in the living room and there was a couch, went over there, but it was so empty, like no pictures. There was a bed, limited furniture. It was a true bachelor pad. But I went in there and I said, well, Lord, where's all the furniture at? Well, ended up he was selling it, and I think he kind of got over his head. So that's what you don't want to be. You don't want to have a big mortgage and a payment with everything going on and get in there and you can't put furniture in the house. So it always stuck with me, not buying more home than you can afford. We won't get in that bandwagon, but I mean, it's so important in today's market that there has to keep a budget because we have to allow for things to change. If things do change, job transfer, job change, you got to be prepared, especially if you're counting on two spouses for income and one of those incomes goes down. You want to be able to cover that. You don't want to too much mortgage there. Paying cash is always great. Not everybody can afford that option, but if you can pay cash, that is awesome. Still be within budget. One of the biggest mistakes is having a small down payment. Obviously, there's a lot of low down payment loans that we can get you into the property and they help you. But obviously, if you can save 15 to 20% down, that is always ideal. But sometimes, that's not possible. But the more down payment it's going to be, the stronger you're going to be in a better position in case things happen. If the market does change, the values do decrease, you're in a better position to resell if something happens. Number 4, don't mistake the skipping the pre-approval. I can't tell you the times that we've had the conversation and we've had an opportunity where they've just skipped the pre-approval. Now, they bought several homes. They know that they're qualified, but they haven't taken the time to get the pre-approval, and it's a Friday. Then it goes to Saturday, and guess what happens? We've got an offer that's potentially going to come on the table, and we haven't spoke to the lender. So we don't have a lender letter, but the other two offers do, and the seller has to make a decision. So therefore, guess what? They go with the other offer because they're not prepared. In this market, preparation's everything. We want to put ourselves in a position to win, and making sure we have pre-approval, even if it's as simple as a 20-minute phone call, making sure that we have that with a good local lender. I can't stress how often in this market that we're using all these out-of-state lenders and different things. Listing agents cringe when we see that. At least this listing agent cringes, because how many times have we had lenders that can't get appraisers in this market to pick up the phone? I've got one yesterday that just day before it's due back to the lender, they're waiting until the 11th hour, and they set up an appraisal. So everybody's on edge. What happens if there's a last minute hiccup? So, a lot of the out-of-state lenders don't know this market. So there's a lot of things that go involved that is so important that gets overlooked. And a lot of times, buyers agents, hey, well, you're approved with ABC Mortgage. That's great. A strong local lender knows your market, like a great local agent that knows your market. And in order in this market for sellers to select offers, you want to make sure you have a lender with a reputation of getting deals closed and great communication and providing good service, where some of the out-of-state lenders just may not. So keep that in mind. That may make the world of difference on getting your contract accepted. There's so many types of loans out there: mortgages, FHA, do I go VA, do I go USDA? What's the best type of loan? Well, the best type of loan, believe it or not, is a 15-year conventional mortgage. It doesn't have all these fees and all these different costs that you're going to have. It's the best loan to get. It's what we bought in our house, and to this day, it is the best loan out there. Now, keep in mind a 15-year mortgage where rates are really low, you're tempted to borrow more money because that payment's more comfortable, right? It's our friend Dave Ramsey, like Dave, love Dave. We love Dave. We love Dave. But you're going to always follow exactly everything Dave says. But he's got great information, smart guy. He said, listen, Ryan, a 30-year mortgage pays off in 30 years. A 15-year mortgage always pays off in 15 years. And the reason on that is so many people want to get a 30-year mortgage and say, hey, I'll make an extra payment a year, and that can take a 30-year to a 17. But I think they did a survey on that, and how many people really pay that extra payment a year? Not many. And that's the reality. It's that discipline. Very few people do that. That's why it's comfortable. So keep that in mind. I know it may be harder, but it's one of the best tools that you can do now, especially if you're, God, I don't say my age, but you get in your 40s, 30, it means you're 70 years old for that thing's paid off. So think about that. That 30 years is 30 years. And 15-year or 20-year or 25 term, if you can get that, it may be one of the best things you can do for retirement is to get that mortgage paid off for you. Just a thought. Another mistake you don't want to do is having somebody co-sign for you. We won't go in long-ended about that, but basically it could cause relationship issues if something doesn't work out. And ultimately, it doesn't really build you to where you need to be. If you're needing a co-signer, maybe you need an opportunity to rent for another 12 months. Co-signer is an option, but keep in mind that there's been some issues with co-signers if things don't go right, and ultimately the co-signer's got to pay for it. Never buy mortgage points to lower your rates. They're wasted money, wasted fees, and you're paying the lender. If you've got a little extra money, if you've got a little extra cash, take the time and put them down on down payment. And don't ever, and I think we'll close on this, don't ever ignore resale value. Right now the market's hot, but it's, as you know, anything changes. Markets change. We're due for a correction. It's coming. You already see it. The recession's coming. The market's coming. It's just there. You can't keep going up as high as we're going. So prepare for that. When you buy the home, it may be planning to live here forever. It's your forever home. keep in mind that if you do sell, you want to have an exit strategy. You want to buy at the best opportunity. Don't buy the biggest house in the neighborhood because it may be the hardest sale. Make sure we do a inspection. That's what I got on some of the deals here. You know, it's Easter. Easter is a very special holiday, very special holiday. It's where, you know, obviously Jesus has overcome the tomb. You know, he rolled it back. And this, what Easter symbolizes is, you know, he rose from the grave, you know. And I think one of the biggest things with Easter, where you fall in that, Christian, not Christian, it's hope, you know, with everything going on, with what's going on in today's society. We've got parents, we've got kids, we've got a lot of people with a lot of stress going on, and a lot of things facing people with cost rising, inflation, so many different things. We're coming out of this COVID pandemic, and they're starting that stuff again, and different things like that. And people are just fed up with it. They don't know what to do. And you know, I'm not here to preach at you. I'm just telling you that Jesus is big in our life. And I think if there's never a time here in this Easter, you take time, and here's a perfect opportunity to get to know him. And so what a great Easter. We hope you enjoy your Easter and know what the real reason of the season is. If you don't have a relationship to him, it's a perfect time to do that. My family from April, from my little babies and kids, we wish you all a very happy Easter and spend time with your family this weekend. From my staff, my team here that makes it happen, we all wish you a happy Easter. Thank you every week for listening. Hope you enjoy the show. Always excited to be with you. Hope you spend time with your family this week and enjoy your Easter. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.